My fiancé told the caterer, "Don't worry about the bill. I'm taking everything in the divorce anyway," while I was signing contracts. The caterer quietly warned me about red flag clients. I canceled the wedding and protected my assets. She's now working 2 jobs to pay her legal fees. I, 29 male, was supposed to get married last October. Instead, I'm sitting in my apartment that I almost lost, drinking coffee. On the counter there's a dusty, world's best fiancé trophy she insisted on buying for herself. The irony isn't lost on me, especially since the future hubby mug she bought for me is now just a memory, shattered against the wall. This is long, but I need to get it off my chest. Melissa and I met 3 years ago at a mutual friend's party. She was everything I thought I wanted. Ambitious, beautiful, came from money. Her dad owned several car dealerships. She worked in marketing for him, which I later learned meant she posted on Instagram twice a week and collected a 6-figure salary. We moved fast. Too fast, looking back. She moved into my place after 6 months. The apartment was mine, inherited from my grandmother, fully paid off. This becomes important later. The proposal happened after 2 years. I spent $15K on a ring. She cried, posted it everywhere. Her friends screamed. You know the drill. Wedding planning started immediately. Melissa wanted everything: country club venue, 200 guests, designer dress, the works. The budget kept climbing, 80K, then 100K, then stop asking about money. This is our special day. I was stressed about the cost, but I had decent savings and she promised her dad would help. Spoiler, he didn't. The caterer meeting happened in August, 2 months before the wedding. High-end place Melissa found on Instagram. The owner, Linda, was this no-nonsense woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen everything. I was signing the contract, another 8K to add to the pile, when Melissa got a call from her best friend Rachel. She stepped into the hallway to talk, but the door didn't close all the way. "Girl, don't even worry about it," Melissa said. "Jake's being such a baby about the costs." "I know, right? It's not like it matters. Once we're married, I'll have access to everything anyway." Linda and I made eye contact. She slowly put her pen down. "Besides," Melissa continued, "the apartment alone is worth like 800K in this market. Even if we split it 50-50 in the divorce, that's still 400K. I could live off that for years." "Yeah, exactly. Play the long game." My blood went cold. Linda's face didn't change, but she quietly closed her folder. Melissa came back all smiles. "Sorry about that. Where were we?" Linda looked at her, then at me. "Actually, I just remembered we're booked that weekend." Melissa's face fell. "What? But you just said." "Mistake in our calendar happens sometimes." Linda stood up. "However, we do have availability in November. Jake, why don't you think about it and call me directly if you want to reschedule?" Melissa was furious in the car, ranted about unprofessional vendors. I just drove, replaying her words in my head. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about other things. How she'd insisted on adding her name to the apartment for insurance purposes. How she'd suggested a joint bank account but hadn't added any money to it. How she'd been pushing for a quick wedding instead of a long engagement. The next morning, Linda called me. "Jake, this is Linda from Sunrise Catering. I wanted to apologize for yesterday. We actually do have availability for your date." "Oh, thanks, but..." "Also," she continued, "I've been in this business 30 years. I've developed a sense for, let's call them red flag clients, the ones who end up causing problems. I always believe it's wisest for couples to be fully aligned on finances before signing big checks. A wedding is a business contract after all. It's important to protect your investment." Silence. "I'm not saying anything about your situation specifically," she added carefully, "but it's just something to consider. Honest discussions are always best before big commitments." "I understand," I said quietly. "Thank you." I called a lawyer that afternoon, paid for a consultation in cash so it wouldn't show up on any shared statements. What I learned made me sick. I always felt uneasy about her push to get on the deed, but I never understood the full legal ramifications. In my state, inheritance is separate property, unless you commingle it. The lawyer laid it out in stark terms. The moment I added Melissa to the apartment title, it would become marital property. If we divorced, she'd be entitled to half its value. He also explained that gifts given in contemplation of marriage, like an engagement ring, could be considered conditional gifts. Get everything in writing, he advised. And whatever you do, do not add her to that deed. I spent the next week playing normal while documenting everything. Screenshots of her texts to friends about securing the bag, a recording of her telling her mom she'd be set for life after the wedding, photo of a notebook where she'd literally calculated my net worth. The confrontation came that Friday. I told her we needed to talk about the wedding budget. Seriously. She rolled her eyes. We've been over this. I want a prenup, I said simply. The transformation was instant. Sweet Melissa disappeared. In her place was someone I'd never seen before. Excuse me? A prenuptial agreement, to protect both of us. Protect us from what? Her voice went sharp. From our love? From our commitment? From financial complications? It's practical. It's insulting. She stood up. How dare you? After everything I've sacrificed for this relationship, what have you sacrificed exactly? Wrong question. She exploded, screamed about how she'd wasted her best years on me, how her ex had offered to marry her without any conditions, how I was cheap, controlling, pathetic. You know what? She grabbed her purse. Rachel warned me about guys like you, insecure little boys who can't handle a successful woman. You work for your daddy, I said quietly, and you make Instagram posts. She threw the future hubby mug at my head. Missed. It shattered against the wall. I'm done, she announced. The wedding's off, but don't think you're getting that ring back. It was a gift. I'll sue you if I have to. Actually, I said, pulling out my phone, conditional gift laws in this state say otherwise. I have a lawyer on retainer. Do you? Her face went white. She moved out that weekend, took everything she'd bought, plus a few things she hadn't. I let her. The important stuff was safe. Documents, valuables, my grandmother's jewelry that she'd been eyeing. Then the real fun started. Update 1. Remember how I mentioned Melissa worked for her dad? Turns out, that was just the tip of the iceberg. After she moved out, the mask completely fell off. She started a full smear campaign, posted on social media about how I was financially abusive and controlling. Her friends attacked me in the comments. My mom got concerned calls from relatives asking if I was okay. I stayed quiet, documented everything. But Melissa got cocky. See, she really thought she had this all figured out. She'd been planning this for months, maybe even from the start. Her friend Rachel? Turns out she'd done the exact same thing to 2 different guys. They had a whole system. The text started rolling in from Melissa. You ruined my life. Everyone knows what you did. I'm keeping the ring and you can't stop me. My dad's lawyer says I have a case for emotional damages. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. He chuckled. Let her dig her own grave. Then came the vendor calls. Remember that 100K wedding? Yeah, turns out Melissa had been signing contracts left and right. The venue, the florist, the photographer, the DJ, all in my name because he's handling the business side of things. I'm more creative. One by one, they started calling about deposits and cancellation fees. My lawyer reviewed the contracts. Did you sign these? He asked. No, she did. Did you give her power of attorney or written authority to sign on your behalf? No. Then you're not legally liable, but they'll probably come after you both anyway to see what sticks. It's often cheaper to make a small problem go away than to fight it, even if you're right. Great. Meanwhile, Melissa was living her best life, posting photos from Miami with Rachel. Bottle service, new designer bags, the ring prominently displayed in every shot. Living my truth. One caption read, "Some people can't handle a bad bitch who knows her worth." Her dad even chimed in, called me directly. Jake, let's be reasonable here, he said in his salesman voice. Melissa's hurting. You hurt my little girl. Maybe we can work something out. She keeps the ring. You cover the wedding cancellations. Everyone moves on. With all due respect, your daughter told a caterer she was planning to divorce me for my assets while I was in the room. Silence. That's not true. Melissa would never. I have a witness, and recordings, and texts. Would you like copies? He hung up. That's when things got interesting. Melissa made her first real mistake. She went to a pawn shop to get the ring appraised, posted about it. Know your worth, ladies? Problem was, she went to a shady place. The owner offered her $3K for a $15K ring. She flipped out and caused a scene. Another customer filmed it. The video ended up on a local gossip site. Bride-to-be not goes off at pawn shop. In the video, she's screaming at the employee, throwing around legal threats. Then, and this is the beautiful part, she admits on camera that it's her ex-fiancé's ring, but possession is 9/10 of the law, you idiot. My lawyer sent her a formal demand for the ring's return that afternoon. Her response? She hired a lawyer. With what money? I don't know. Daddy suddenly wasn't feeling so generous after our phone call. Update 2. So Melissa's lawyer was exactly what you'd expect. Fresh out of law school, working out of a strip mall, thought he could intimidate me with big words. He sent a demand letter that was hilarious. Claimed I had breached our verbal contract to marry, inflicted emotional distress, stolen shared property, the ring, committed financial abuse by withholding assets. He wanted $50K in damages plus the ring. My lawyer literally laughed on the phone. Let me handle this, he said. His response was a work of art. 3 pages systematically destroying every claim with citations. But the best part was the counterclaim he threatened. He explained to me that while suing for fraud in the inducement in a failed engagement is tough to win, threatening to sue, with the evidence we had, was a powerful tool. We could make a strong case that she entered the engagement under false pretenses. He drafted a letter outlining our intent to sue for $75K, the cost of the wedding, my legal fees, and damages for the planned fraud. It was a strategic move meant to show her that her lawsuit would cost her more than she could ever hope to gain. Melissa lost her mind. The texts came flooding in at 3 a.m. You can't sue me, this is harassment. My dad will destroy you. I'll tell everyone you were abusive. That last one made me call my lawyer immediately. He told me to stay away from her and document any contact. I installed cameras around my apartment the next day. Good thing too, because 2 nights later, guess who showed up drunk with Rachel? They tried to break in. On camera. Rachel was filming it for her Instagram story, a running commentary of nonsense. Getting what's hers, Melissa slurred. This apartment should be mine. She tried to use her old key. I'd changed the locks. She kicked the door. Rachel suggested they break a window. Then Melissa had a moment of clarity, saw the new camera and realized she was being filmed by more than just her friend. The video ended with her screaming, "Turn it off," at Rachel. I called the cops, showed them the footage. Melissa and Rachel got arrested for attempted breaking and entering. Daddy had to bail them out. That's when the real panic set in for Melissa. She'd been living off credit cards and her dad's money. But after the arrest, Daddy cut her off completely. Said she was an embarrassment to the family name. The bills were piling up. Her lawyer wanted another retainer. Credit card companies were calling. The wedding vendors were now suing her directly. Her car, leased under her dad's company, got repossessed. She tried to get a job in her field. But that pawn shop video? Yeah, employers Google people. No marketing firm wanted to hire someone known for screaming at service workers. Finally, she reached out directly. A simple text, "Can we talk?" Against my lawyer's advice, I agreed to meet. Public place, coffee shop. I recorded everything. One-party consent state. She looked rough. Designer clothes replaced with Target, no professional makeup, eyes red from crying or lack of sleep. "Jake," she started. "I'm sorry." I waited. "I messed up, I know. Rachel," she got in my head, made it seem like this was normal, like this was what smart women do. "Con men into marriage?" She flinched. "It wasn't like that, not at first. I did love you, I do love you. You told a caterer you were planning to divorce me while I was paying her. I was scared." She leaned forward. "You have everything. The apartment, savings, a future. What did I have? A joke job from my dad? No real skills? I was terrified of being left with nothing. So you decided to take everything from me instead?" She started crying. Real tears, not the fake ones I'd seen before. "I'll give back the ring," she whispered. "I'll drop everything. The lawsuits, all of it. I need this to stop. I can't afford my lawyer anymore. I'm trying to find work, but it's hard. My dad won't talk to me. My friends think I'm toxic." Rachel blocked me after the arrest. Part of me felt bad, a small part. Then I remembered the months of lies, the planning, the entitlement. "Give me the ring back," I said. "Sign a document admitting you signed the wedding contracts without my authority. You take responsibility for your half of the vendor cancellation fees. Then we're done." "I can't afford the vendor fees. Payment plan." She stared at me. "You really won't help me at all? After everything?" "After everything?" I stood up. Yeah, after everything. I left her crying in that coffee shop. Update 3. Posted about a year after the breakup. It's been over a year since everything imploded. Wanna know where everyone is now? Melissa, she's working 2 jobs, at a Starbucks and a nighttime call center, to pay off her half of the wedding debt and her credit cards. Her dad eventually let her move back home, but charges her rent. She returned the ring through her lawyer. It had a new scratch on it, but I didn't pursue it. Just wanted it over. She tried dating apps for a while. A friend showed me her profile, all old photos from her money days, talking about wanting a real man who can handle a strong woman. It got leaked to a local Reddit community that shares dating profiles. The comments were brutal. Rachel got arrested 2 more times after the break-in. Turns out she had a whole history of scams. She's currently facing fraud charges for a different scheme involving fake charity fundraisers. Melissa testified against her as part of a plea deal. The wedding vendors, we reached settlements with most of them. The venue was the hardest. My lawyer negotiated a settlement where I paid a small fraction of the cancellation fee, just to avoid being dragged through a lengthy court case. Melissa was found liable for the rest. I'm told she's on a payment plan that'll take her years to complete. Her lawyer dropped her as a client when she couldn't pay. Last I heard, he'd put a lien on her for his unpaid fees to be collected if she ever comes into any money. Linda the caterer. I sent her a thank you card and a very expensive bottle of wine. She sent back a note, "Trust your gut. It's rarely wrong. We're using her for my company's holiday party." Me. Therapy helped. Turns out I ignored a lot of red flags because I was lonely and she was beautiful. Classic. I'm dating again, slowly. Actually went out with a woman who insisted on splitting the check. I almost cried. The apartment's still mine. I redecorated to get rid of the memories. Sold that ring and donated half the money to a domestic violence shelter. Used the other half for a vacation. First time traveling alone. It was incredible. My ex-friends who believed Melissa's version? Most came crawling back after the truth came out. I forgave some. Others can stay gone. Life's too short for fair weather friends. But here's the thing that still gets me. Melissa was half right about one thing. She did waste her best years. Not on me. On a con. She could have built a real career, a real relationship, a real life. Instead, she chose the grift. Last week I saw her at a gas station. She was in uniform, looked exhausted. We made eye contact. She started to say something, then just shook her head and went inside. I filled up my tank and left, felt nothing. And that's when I knew I was finally free. To anyone reading this, trust your gut. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when a caterer who's seen it all gives you a piece of advice, you absolutely listen. Oh, and get a prenup. Always get a prenup.